Hello all, welcome to my video. This video is about mangrove forests, aka mangrove swamps, aka the mangroviest biome around. Mangroves can be found on warm, sunny tropical coasts where there's salty or brackish water and oxygen-poor, muddy, wet soil. So basically, here. Now typically if you're a tree like this guy, growing in soil with little to no oxygen is a bad idea because your roots need that for respiration. It's also not a good idea to live under up to a foot of salty seawater, especially when that water is subject to tide cycles and wave action. If you're a mangrove though, you're adapted to all of this and chilling in these deadly conditions for other trees. This next part of the video is dedicated to my official mangrove tier list. To make it into the mangrove club, a plant needs to be able to take root and live in these salty coastal mudflats. Mangroves are definitive foundation species as their roots trap sediments and dampen wave impacts to create warm, calm environments that house a huge variety of creatures. Mangrove trees and shrubs have many unique adaptations to live in such swashbuckling conditions, so with this list, I'll be highlighting some pioneers of the mangrove industry and what they do to live where they do. First up, we have the black mangrove. This shrub defines American salt marshes, but lacks the iconic prop root system seen in other mangroves. The roots still need oxygen though, and they're not going to get it in that soil, so the black mangrove has developed the technique of having the tips of their roots, called pneumatophores, stick back out of the mud to drink that sweet oxygen air. It's an icon for mangrove root abilities, and for that I'm giving the black mangrove a solid B tier. After that, we have the figurehead of mangroves, the red mangrove. These guys are known for their recognizable prop roots, which while common across mangroves are very strong and pronounced in red mangroves. These roots hold the trunk of the tree above the water during high tide and can take in oxygen when they're exposed at low tide. Along with this, the red mangroves, along with black mangroves, have complex filtration and excretion systems to deal with salt, which is excreted from their leaves like a kind of dry sweat. Overall, an iconic tree that defines mangroves, definite A tier. Up next is the tea mangrove. These guys skip the prop roots in favor of this wild broomstick look. Their roots are very sturdy to withstand the tides and waves, and have the ability to filter and excrete salt similar to the red and black mangrove's leaves. Despite being one of my personal favorites, they're incredibly rare and endangered, so for that, I can only give them C tier. Following this is the white mangrove. In my opinion, this is a weak specimen, as it doesn't fully commit to the saltwater lifestyle of others. It instead takes root farther up the shore, out of reach of the tides. It's still stuck in oxygen-poor soil most of the time though, so it has the ability to grow its roots either deeper into the soil or more above ground, depending on its oxygen needs. Even if that's cool, it's still a loser for staying out of the water, so I'm giving it D tier. Finally, we have the looproot mangrove. These guys have the unique practice of growing seedlings along their branches while the seedlings develop roots. Once the baby roots get about a meter long, the seedling drops into the water below. With this long root already made, the seedlings can quickly anchor themselves in the soil while staying on top of the water. While I think this is cute, these mangroves don't grow in until later during succession, and then they cause so much canopy shade they actually kill off the original mangroves who developed the area. I think this is rude, and for that, they go in poop tier. While I can spend all day talking about mangroves, we still have to talk about animals. Let's add some to this picture. That's better. Mangrove forests act as sanctuaries between the oceans and the rainforests. While the plant life isn't typically diverse in a specific mangrove ecosystem, the animal life found within mangroves is some of the most diverse across the entire planet. Both birds and fish use the mangroves as calmer nesting and hunting grounds to raise young. Reptiles and amphibians live here to eat said young, and even some larger land mammals can adapt to mangrove life and call it home, which makes a colorful, diverse food web. Look at this cute little dude. He's from Southeast Asia and he spends his days hunting small insects or crustaceans in the mud, which has earned him the name the crab-eater frog. Most frogs would shrivel up and die in salty water like this, but not this guy. He has the ability to produce excess amounts of urea that counteract the intake of salt and allows him to happily swim in water with salt concentrations as high as 2.8% that would normally kill other frogs. Next we have this quirky Cassiopeia jellyfish. They prefer the calm water provided by mangroves to the rough ocean. They've teamed up with a squad of photosynthetic zooxanthellae hanging around the base of their tentacles. These produce food from the nice shelter of the jellyfish tentacles that the Cassiopeia eats. To do this, they need a lot of light, so the Cassiopeia spends a lot of time chilling on the floor upside down, which earned it the nickname the upside-down jellyfish. But watch out on the mangrove floor. Almost every mangrove forest is full of wading birds like this spoonbill, so called because his bill looks like a spoon. This guy uses his big flat bill to comb through the sediment, searching for pretty much any small animal to eat. Fish, crabs, insects, he'll eat anything he can get his spoon around. Similar to flamingos, they get their pink color from eating so many crustaceans. On the Southeast Asian island of Borneo, we have the endemic and endangered proboscis monkey, iconic for the male's well-endowed nose that they use to attract females. They're strong swimmers and make the coastal swamps of Borneo their home. They're also entirely herbivorous and have the most complex digestive system of all primates that allow them to eat the unfriendly leaves of mangrove swamps. Last on our list of friends is the mudskipper. These crazy fish have very developed front fins that they use to waddle and hop around the puddles and mud of low tide. They also have evolved a sort of reverse lung system. They store water in their gills that they then breathe from for long periods of time while they're out of the water. Mangroves are of course home to countless other diverse organisms, but many of these guys are endangered. Proboscis monkeys, fishing cats, four-toed terrapins, tea mangroves, and countless endemic bird species find themselves horribly endangered due to the rapid deforestation of the past few decades. Tens of thousands of square miles of mangrove have been cleared in the past century for lumber or to be replaced with seafood farms in coastal cities. Mangroves are one of the most important ecosystems on our planet due to how they protect inland areas from storms and waves, prevent erosion, and provide sanctuaries for countless species of land and aquatic animals. Yet they are being destroyed and ignored more than any other biome because people see them as useless, stinky swamps. Of course, you now know how much more than a useless swamp these coastal wonderlands are. Tell your friends about the tragedies of the mangroves and raise awareness for the grooviest trees in the world. Thank you.